Storyside presents The Java Enigma, narrated by me, Syirin Said. Chapter 1. We're now standing in front of Borobudur, a Buddhist temple from the 8th and 9th centuries, one of the oldest in central Java, said a passing tour guide, holding up a red flag to draw the attention of her flock of 30 or so sightseers. You might have heard it commonly described in Hindu-Buddhist cosmology as mirroring the universe, but why? If you get a chance to see it from above, Borobudur actually forms a mandala, which means circle in Sanskrit, and in Buddhism can represent many things, from the wheel of life to a symbol of perfection, and even as a tunnel between this world and the next. My ears perked up at the commentary. Even as the tourist group tottered away towards the base of the monument, I could still hear the guide blaring from the loud hailer about Borobudur as a pilgrimage site, and how the various themes of punishment and reward, the life of Buddha, and the search for the highest wisdom. Meanwhile, I'll take you through the 1,460 relief panels, and at the end, maybe we'll do a quick quiz on how many Buddha statues you saw and how many different hand poses there are. Today, as with every other day in July, was blistering hot amid the incessant clamor of tourists, both domestic and international, whizzing past in a kaleidoscopic blur, most of them taking refuge from the sun under colorful umbrellas. I didn't have that luxury. Since working on this project, I had changed the shade of my foundation 3 times, my tan nearly permanent now, save the areas hidden by my daily uniform of Bermuda shorts and t-shirt. I'd sometimes chuckle to myself at how much I was starting to look like Ayah when he took off his shirt. All those years working on a ship and exposed to the sun had given my father stripes, or belang-belang, as we used to say in Malay. I should call him. We last spoke in February and had promised to meet. He had been excited to show me his new house that he and his wife had bought in Kuala Lumpur. From the pictures of his garden, I could tell that he was at peace. After all, he had always wanted space to plant fruit trees and vegetables, just as he and his father had done in their old house in Johor. Flats in Singapore, however, couldn't afford such indulgence. But work? Well, that's what I told Ayah when I canceled my visit to see him. Truth was, Ibu had called me from Singapore. She needed my help with a guy she was dating, and honestly, it was hard choosing between my parents, especially when I had only 4 days to spend with either during my one trip home. I suppose it was obvious whom I chose. Ada orang telefon kamu tu. Bunyinya berbur gitu. Enggak didengarin kah? I turned and squinted at Mia, who was squatting an arm's length behind me. I swore she had ears more sensitive than a mouse's. How did she hear my phone vibrating in my back pocket when I didn't even feel it? If it's important, they'll call again, I replied, raising my gloved hands instead. I didn't want to go through the whole washing and sanitizing ritual again. All I wanted was to finish cataloging this particular piece of relief and head for lunch. I had been fretting over it for a few weeks, and with our funding coming to an end, this was my prized possession. The motif on the block had broken off during a minor collapse following the 2017 earthquake. And for the restoration team to accurately replicate it, they needed to know what the original looked like. That was where I came in. As a UNESCO librarian, I had access to most research archives as well as public library collections, which made retrieving information not only quicker, but also more reliable. For example, this particular relief had required me to cross-reference photographs from the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam with research papers housed at London's British Library and books shelved at Universitas Gadjah Mada in Yogyakarta. What would take a regular researcher weeks to gain approval for access to these rare materials had taken me days. You know, it's fine if you need to go and answer the call. I don't think Professor Volker would mind. We could take an early lunch together. The shadow casting over me was slender, the voice gentle and kind. Looking up, I smiled. I clapped my dusty gloved hands together and stood up, coming eye to eye with Dr. Harper, the supervising researcher for my unit.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?